What is up, guys? It's your boy Top Figure Sal back with another video, and today we're switching it up, guys. We are actually doing a live video podcast where you can see us in person, and you guys have been asking for that, and you guys have been saying like, hey, what's with the podcast? We're back, guys, and we're so excited to get into this right away.
First thing before we start, I want to say we appreciate all of you guys, all the new supporters that have been coming on board, everybody that's been supporting the brand. The brand is growing thanks to you guys. We're all a community. This is going to be the biggest entrepreneur community in the world, and I believe we could get it there with confidence. But another thing I do want to say, in order to keep helping us grow, we're trying to be top 100 business podcasts in America, and I think we could get there with your help. If you could take a screenshot of this, post it, and tag us, that would be dope. But with that, let's get right into it. Guys, welcome to the Top Figure Podcast. My name is Abdi Hassan, your co-host.
My name is Salman Elmi.
And let's get right into it. So we got a few things to chop it up here about today. But the first one, let's get right into it. Change, man.
Ooh, this is a big one because the thing is, this is something that everybody experienced, and we all were a part of change this year with the whole coronavirus happening to all of us. And yeah, it's important that we, it's a lot of people are saying like, why are we still talking about this? We're still living in this every single day, and it's a part of, and it's gonna really be, if we're not talking about the things we're doing forward, we're not going to be, we're going to be staying the same. So we have to constantly talk about what are we doing different every single day. And one thing is sad to say, a lot of businesses are not going to come back from coronavirus, and they will be extinct. And it's honestly, for the good. And it's the one thing is, if in order for change to happen, something terribly sometimes might have to happen to a lot of us in order for us to be motivated to change. And it's sad that that's the case for a lot of people. And I want to urge you guys to really just think of changing before something negative is happening. And I want you guys to start putting forth good habits that you guys can learn from when you go when you're dealing with certain things.
And part of change is continuously to learn.
Yeah,
continuously
100%.
to learn. As entrepreneurs or as business owners, when you're the founder, it's easy to always it's easy to just stay playing defense. You're always on defense mode. You're always just turning off fires. Okay, you have a problem here, you're solving that problem. You have a problem here, you're solving that problem. You have a problem here, you're never taking time to educate yourself so you could learn more, to improve your business, and that way you could automate certain parts of your business that doesn't require you to be doing those things. And at what point do you hire the right person, and at what point you don't hire the right person? Those are all different things that you have to look at within your business to understand. But one thing that is guaranteed, and we do this here at Top Figure, our company, is everybody that works with us is try to learn something new every day.
100%.
Because when you grow, we grow. When we grow, you grow. It's essentially a community of everybody growing together. So, and this has to start at the top. As a founder, you need to make this a culture. You need to be learning something new all the time yourself.
100%.
And when you tell this to your employees or the people that work with you, hey, I'm learning something new every day, whether it's about yourself,
reading something
business, new, everything, whatever it is, just one thing, learn something new every day. Because what that does is, once they see you doing it, they're like, oh, okay, let me do this too. Because people that work for you, they're gonna be following you. If you're not doing it and you're always on offense, and people can see, defense, people can see when you're always just turning off fires and you're always just running after fixing problems, and you're not essentially growing and learning something new about your business. Because you should be an expert. When I say expert, I mean expert in your field. You should be one of the top. And if you're 100%. Not there, you should be trying to get there, which is learning something new every day. Because we're all like flowers, right? We're either growing or we're dying. There's nothing between. A flower doesn't stay the same,
100%.
It's either dying or growing, So it's as a business owner, it's really important to be adapting to new things, learning new things, So let's get into adapting, how important adapting is.
100%.
And we've seen it sadly happen with a lot of businesses right now. With the pandemic, a lot of businesses are not going to open their doors back up ever again.
And that's the crazy part. Really, to be honest, a lot of businesses didn't have websites. We were interviewing a lot of businesses who called us, asked us for advice, and they were saying hey, I want to get online. And we asked them, at least, do you have a website? Do you have a Google listing? It's 2020, guys. Keep that in mind.
Yeah,
and a lot of them still didn't have a website.
It was surprising how many of them didn't. And the ones that did, it was a website just explaining about what their business is.
Explaining about it.
No
images,
no sales,
nothing.
no product. They're selling physical good products.
But nowhere to buy it. And the crazy thing is, we live in a day and age when there are so much tools. When I say there are so much tools, there is literally a tool around every corner. There are tools such as Shopify, Wix, Weebly, all these different website platforms, WordPress, Canva, and they're not even that expensive. They're literally free to, the max you'll be paying is like what, $20, $30 a month for a lot of these services. And it's like, how can you have how can you not utilize these things? It just goes to show you that a lot of businesses that really weren't utilizing this, they were more so focused on keeping the wrong things up. Like for example, like they maybe were so focused more so on like, you know, like their customer experience. Granted, that's good, but how about when people, how can people find you online, or how can they like visit your business, place of business?
Yeah, so and they're probably focused on trying to get more products
or anything like that, or you know, they're talking to their suppliers. Granted, these things are good in business, and you're always looking at to grow your business in certain areas and avenues. But you got to look at how can people find you, and how can you be innovating your business? How can you be using new tools and new platforms to make your customer experience 10 times better? That's what you have to be looking at and doing.
Huge. So, and you just mentioned some crazy points right there. I want to kind of backtrack to the one about building a website that you can sell a product on. Shopify. It cost you probably what, $29 a month.
And in the pandemic, they were doing a free trial
3 months,
for
right?
3 months.
Now let me just mention this. Let me just mention, because I want people to really understand what this is, right? I really want you to kind of like close your eyes for a second and think about this. You are paying $29 for rent, pretty much, right? Yeah. Your retail space is probably $1,000, $2,000 a month, but you're okay paying that. But you're not. You don't have a $29 a month website that you could have 100 customers extra a month without doing no extra advertising. Or it could just be find us online. You can bring the extra, you know. So it's like, it's mind blowing, you know. And some of these businesses, when we were speaking to them and actually giving them some of these tips, they didn't know that, because the reason is, and I asked them, all of them, I'm like, hey, why didn't you look into this? They were like, oh, I'm busy doing other things. Back to my point, they're playing defense all the time.
Yeah, like
they're literally turning out fires every time. They have this issue right there, they got to go run after. Now they got this issue, they got to run after. Now they got that. They realize at the end of the day, they come home, they're like, oh, where did the time go? Then they do it the next day, and then they do it the next day, and they realize, wow, like I haven't grown. I've been at this same place for the last 4 or 5 years of my business, and it's because I'm always playing defense and I'm not playing offense, and I'm not learning something new every day that I can implement in my business to make me more money, you know, and that way it lowers my, so it's like, it's sad to see what's going on, and that's why we have to talk about these things and really be very transparent with you guys. Like,
and the crazy thing is, I want to add to this too as well. A lot of people really just didn't want to spend too as well on things, especially prior to the pandemic. They were more so like, you know, maybe like, hey, let me cut the things that really they weren't spending on, you know, optimizing the business. For example, like let's say for hiring somebody that could, like, they were playing defense all the time, right? A lot of them were playing defense. They were doing a lot of redundant tasks that really weren't benefiting or growing the business, so they can have some time to learn. Because at the end of the day, without you, the business doesn't mean anything. It's not going to exist. If you're constantly playing defense all the time and you're not looking for roles to place, spend extra money on somebody who can take care of a certain thing in your business to handle those fires. There's no reason why you should be out here like going after, like, let's say responding to every single email, and then you're not taking the time, and you're saying you're too busy to learn, okay, how can I learn a new way to advertise?
You could find someone to be your assistant off Upwork for $2 an hour.
Literally.
$3 an hour.
Literally.
Max, you know?
There are so much tools, and there's so much people willing to work and do these things, especially now.
At a cheap rate.
Yeah, especially now in a pandemic, there's people who are willing to work for any amount of time. Like, and you could see the quickest things to be replaced in a pandemic were all the jobs that were all unnecessary. Yeah. All the jobs that are not necessary, that are key positions, are still around, and the things that are necessary, like the actual vital businesses that people needed. So all of the, so you got to understand, you got to be doing.
It's like here's the thing. There's a reason why Zoom like exploded.
Massively grew, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's even Shopify started growing because a lot of businesses are now starting to understand they have to do this.
They have to be online.
You have to be online. It's like literally having now. It's more important than your physical store. It's getting to that point now.
Yep.
Like your online store could make you more money than your physical store can.
And the thing is, it's crazy how like all these retail giants collapsing and filing bankruptcies. It's like you would think people would still change from that, but it had to take a massive like pandemic like coronavirus to make people start to think, okay, we need to start doing video. We need to start doing, have an online presence. We have to have an online store. You can't move like that. You have to actually learn and constantly learn new tactics and innovate your business all the time.
And I want to add on to that, because the most important thing about that you just mentioned is holiday season's coming up, you know. So for those of you guys who actually
it's not too late
in retail, this is why if you're listening to this, I'm glad you're actually listening to this, right? Yeah. Because a big opportunity is coming. You know, this could really be a breakthrough for a lot of people. So what's coming up is one of the big like holiday season, right? This is when Q4 is when everybody's shopping season. Boom, everybody's shopping. Now, this year is super interesting because Walmart, Target, they all announced that the Black Friday is just going to be online this year. It's not going to be in physical stores, right? So what that means is everybody is going to be shopping online. So you could get a piece of that pie because all your customers that you were getting lines out the door, and there's some business, don't get me wrong, there's some retail businesses that have lines out the door and always had lines out the door, you know, and it's just the pandemic, people were just going out. Those are the ones that I'm even talking to even more. If you know that your business is going really well right now, you're like, okay, how could I leverage? There's more ways, you know, because what people forget is when there's good times, they forget bad times is gonna come. And then when there's bad time, people forget good times are coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just so vice versa.
It's like the businesses that, you know, if you're just like, oh, it's because of the pandemic. After this pandemic, things are not gonna go back to being the same.
100%.
This is for sure, you know. Everything is going to be online. So just simply build your website online. You know, you go to Shopify, you go to Wix. You know, all these platforms don't cost much, and you could you could even build it. All this is self-explanatory. Drag and drop. There's a 30-minute YouTube video you could find and just build it yourself within 30 minutes. So it's like not going to take you much time. If you care about your business, I think you could spend 30 minutes on this if you really care about your business. But yeah, and then the next thing I really want to get into is customer experience. You know, you mentioned that a little bit earlier, but this is huge. This is huge, especially let's say you guys come online. Now what's next? Now how do you make yourself different? You know, how do you make yourself special? Customer experience. From giving them that little special thing, from giving them the extra piece of thing, from the packaging, and all these things are really important for small businesses especially.
100%, that's true. And it's like customer experience is gonna actually be the one thing that if you're not focused on, you're not going to, your customers are essentially, if they can't find you online, if it's not easy for them, they're going to the next person. They're not gonna be waiting around looking for you know, a specific, like, oh, they're going to your competitor who's online. So you gotta make sure that your customer experience is very easy, is very simple, and it's not difficult for them to find you. Don't make them go through hurdles and loops trying to find where your website is. You got to make sure you have good SEO. You got to make sure you have a great looking website. When they do visit, has to be mobile friendly. It's 2020, God. Like it's
friendly. And after you knocked all these things out, you know, you got good website that looks actually pretty legit. Like you guys been in business for a while, you know, which some of you guys have, but please make sure, because there's some of these retail stores that have been in business for what, 10 years, and then you see their website, it looks like it was made in 2002. So it's like, make sure it kind of correlates, you know? And once you do that, and once you have great customer experience, you know, you have a specialty, you make your customers actually feel special. You make them feel special because they're the ones who are paying you. 100%. Now the last step is start spending, you can start slow, advertising. Now is the last piece, because you've knocked every single checkbox out, and the last one is advertising. You know, you could run Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, and once you guys do that, you guys are gonna, you know, do pretty well. But this is the episode of the podcast. You know, we wanted to share with you guys. These are things that you guys could take and start leveraging for Q4 coming up. And we're very excited. If you guys have any question, go ahead and reach out, us a DM us. Yep, at Team Top Figure. You know, so yeah, this is the podcast. My name is Abdi Hassan, co-host of Top Figure.
My name is Salman Elmi.
This is the Top Figure podcast, also known as the Keycast, and we are out.
Peace.